Hey guys, Mike Hackett here. I've gotten a lot of feedback on these form-focused videos that I do, and an overwhelming majority of you want to actually see the form-focused tips prior to the day's workout, and I understand why. So I'm going to attempt to make it a priority of mine to lay out the entire week's worth of tasks and the forms that we're looking for, or the tips that we could give you, and I'm going to try to publish them every Sunday night on YouTube. And then that way it can be shared on more platforms than just your Facebook. And we will lay it out, all the entire week's workouts for you, kind of give you some heads up as to what to look out for, some harder parts. And then that way you'll have a full knowledge of what it is that your pro should be looking for that day. So since today's a Thursday and we're kind of got, we got 3 days left in the week, I'm going to try to run through 3 days pretty quickly. Normally I'm going to take 2 or 3 tasks per day and just kind of go through them in some detail. But I'm just going to show you these 3 days coming up here. Right now we got April 20th tomorrow, April 21st Saturday, and April 22nd on Sunday. So April 20th is going to be a faded 3, a fine muck, a relapse, and a chaos. Ali is one thing we're going to be looking at, Stampede is another, and then Obliterator. Ali is named after Muhammad Ali, and it's really not an exercise that we came up with at Cyphus. It is an agility ladder exercise. What you're doing is moving sideways or laterally and moving your feet back and forth. Okay? When you go back, it's just the other way. I like to use this line just to kind of demonstrate exactly how it should be done. But obviously you won't have the line when you're going down the field in Cyphus. But when you do this, one of the things that I notice is people tend to lean too far forward. And that, as a result, makes your feet heavier. It's an agility exercise, so the whole idea is to be light on your feet. And in order to do that, you gotta have the weight kind of back, so that way you can be nice and light on the toes. Okay, so that's Ali. Remember, you're trying to at least do 22 there and 22 back. The way we count that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm counting each foot, or every other foot, I guess you could say, but like every time the left foot goes forward, or my lead foot goes forward, I count 1. Okay, so Stampede, this seems very, very basic, I know, but what it is a crossover in front, crossover behind, and then a step to reset. It's actually 3 steps, but the one thing I want to focus on is the actual step behind. Sometimes people just kind of go like this and don't actually step behind. If you're not stepping behind, you're doing yourself a disservice for things like crazy legs or cray-cray, and not really being able to get forward and accelerate down the field when you have those, those harder exercises. So it should look like this. Cross over in front, behind, reset. Just like that. Okay, if I'm going to go this way so you can see from behind, it's like this. Moving the hips a little bit and allow yourself to get that foot backwards. The last exercise we want to focus on for tomorrow is Obliterator. Okay, Obliterator is an inchworm where your knees go to the outside of your elbow, your off elbow. So again, we'll use this line as an example. We crawl out, we bring our knees to the outside of my elbow. Crawling out, and I'm staying kind of toward. Now that's not something we are very, very strict on. You can go straight and then turn if you want to, but I kind of like to do straight the entire way. And what that does is it forces that lower oblique. So whatever oblique or side of your rib cage is facing the ground, it forces that side to have to work a lot more. Now, if you have to go like this and start it with an inchworm and then turn, I suppose that's all right, but if you want the best effect from that exercise, try to stay kind of open where your bottom foot is doing more of the work and that oblique towards the turf is doing more of the work. The other thing is, it's critical, is that when you do your pull, your hands aren't staggered, because then you're just shorting like that stride, that knee to your elbow. Make sure the hands are even up. So if I want to use this line as an example, just like that, and they're even up on the line. Crawl out, even up, just like that. But keep that outside, that knee outside your elbow. So that's tomorrow, April 20th. Those are the 3 exercises we'll be looking at. All right, 421, we're doing something called abducted. Now that stands for a couple things. Abduction, whenever we're talking about doing exercises, it means anytime a limb is coming away from like the center of your body. So generally what we're talking about in these exercises are all hip abductions. So anytime your hips are going out like that. It also refers to the actual workout or the circuit we're doing. Has a checklist on one side, and then the circuits that you're doing will be abducting or pulling from that checklist. Okay, so I got like 6 exercises here. Mantis is one. Normally a mantis is just like this, both feet on the ground, slowly down, back up. Well, now we're going to add a hip abduction, so you're going to be on one leg and out. Go out as you lower yourself towards the turf. Okay, when you lower yourself towards the turf, that's when the foot's going out. Also, with any of these exercises I'm about to show you today for abduction, pay attention to your foot. Okay, the foot that's actually doing the abduction. So if it's this foot, try leading with the heel of your foot. If you lead with the heel of your foot, you're going to feel a lot more in your glute, which is what we're going for. Okay, like this. If you lead with the toe, you may have tight glutes to begin with, but you're not going to feel it as much in your rear end, and that's kind of what we're going for here. Okay, I mean that would also apply for something like crook. Lead with your heel. Always lead with your heel, don't open up. We have different exercises to open up the hips, like squonk and alt squonk and that kind of stuff. Just like the mantis is your push-up, single leg push-up, go outward with the heel, back up. You're going out as you go down. Okay, flamingo is another one. We're going outward with the heel, balancing on one leg while we're doing a curl. We're going to go up and down. So as we curl up, the hip is also abducting. Just like that, just switch on the other end zone. Jangle leg, normally what we do is a boulder push. When we do jangle leg, we push out, and then we just kind of kick back with a straight leg. Well, now instead of kicking back, we're going to kick back and out with the heel leading. From the side, it would look like this. Okay, you push out into a boulder, kick out. Notice my hips are still pretty flat. I'm not arching it up. And then the last two, you're just going to hold the abduction. You're not actually going to do like a pulse or a rep or anything like that. The first one would be your single leg benched, single leg bridge benched with an abduction. That's kind of a mouthful, eh? You're going to go up and then hold the abduction and do your bench. I believe that one's only half the reps because you don't want to start cramping up in your hip. And then the last one is going to be your jackass, which is a single leg reverse plate push with an abduction. Okay, so I'm going to show you the reverse view first. Jackass is like this. You lift up. Well, normally it's like this, but we're going to lift up and out and push while holding that abduction. Okay, so let me show you my left side because I haven't done much of that. Just do like this, here, out, like that. Okay? Pretty tough, getting winded. Abduct is going to be very, very tough, but good luck with that. All right, so now 422. April 22nd, we're doing a filling, a checklist by 2, a vertex, and an equilibrius. 2 tough exercises. One is going to be Wicca. Now, Wicca has to have a certain rhythm in order for you to be able to pull the plate correctly. Wicca is, at its base, is a reverse mastodon, which is just like that, a reverse bear crawl with mogul feet. Well, now we're going to add a plate to it. I like to start kind of like even up to start with, but whatever plate has the hand, or whatever hand has the plate, when you jump to that side, you're going to pull. Okay, so it looks like this. If you try to pull at the same time you're on the off side, it's not really going to work. It'll just look like kind of like a bully. Like a single arm diablo. Okay, so you always want to pull on the side of the plate. From like a side view, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go here, pull, pull. And what I'm really doing is really using my lat, like underneath your armpit when you're pulling the weight. I'm pulling it hard, but I'm also digging my legs in and pulling with my quads. Okay, that takes some getting used to. I would urge you to kind of get with your pro and see if they can see where you're maybe missing on that rhythm. The other thing is going to be glute bridge dip. That's what GBD stands for. glute bridge dip. It's hitting your rear end and it's hitting your hamstrings. To start with, just like a regular bridge would be both feet on the ground, but we're gonna lift one leg up. Keep the knees in line, keep the hips up. We're just gonna drop the hips, but don't let your butt hit the turf. Come back up to the starting position. You don't wanna rush this. Keep your foot flat on the ground, and you're just kind of raising and lowering the hips. You're gonna do that 15 times, switch sides on the other side down there. Try to keep the hips in line, keep the knees in line. Don't let one leg go like straight up in the air. So that's what we got for 422.